It's 5:30, so I'm going to call our meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. Remind everyone that our mission is to encourage everyone to see and be their personal best through successful learning experiences. Become your best. Item 4, adoption of the agenda and the consent agenda as the order of business, with identification of items to be taken off the consent agenda for discussion or separate action. Need a motion?
I move we adopt the agenda and consent agenda as the order of business.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we will consider approval of the consent agenda as adopted. Approve the minutes from January 16th, 2024 Board of Education meeting. Approve the financial report for the period of July 1, 2023 through January 31st, 2024, and approve bills for the period of January 1st through the 31st, 2024 in the amount of $2,218,213.20.
Make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as stated.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Item 6, Board and District Leadership Strategic Planning, Legislative Update. Mr. Mello.
Yes, we did have a chance to get together with our legislators, and all of them were there, except for Dewey Strobel. So that was a good turnout again. Again, we always do thank them for making the time for us and allowing us to advocate and get input from us too on some different things. They did have some questions about a couple of different bills that are out there for us, and we did give them some feedback. There is a bill concerning firearms detection software, about that being a requirement for schools and or paid for by a granting process and those types of things. And so the superintendents gave them some feedback about that. There was some discussion about the Act 20 screener. There's now the original screener was supposed to happen in early fall for next year, and then the subsequent plans and changes in programming for students were going to be based on that screener. That now there is an amended part of that legislation that it won't be given in fall. They're kicking it back at least till what was going to be the second test of the year, because they are just behind schedule. So we are with Dina still working our way through, and our principals and our reading teachers are all still working towards preparing for it. And we are a bit ahead of many other districts in terms of our letters training, which is one aspect of it. But we also did ask for any insider information about which screener that they were going to approve, because we've been looking at one that we think it's going to be, and we'd like it to be that one, because then we'd be more prepared. But so we'll see if they give us any insider information. There are 4 bills that we talked about. There's a couple of tax cut bills. There's a UW system support bill. And then there is an open enrollment increase bill, payment to incoming students from the other district or state, which would increase it to $10,000 compared to $8,700, which it is now. And then a decoupling bill. All of these bills are most likely to be vetoed if they do pass in the Assembly and the Senate, just because as you heard probably about 40 minutes after we were done with our meeting on Monday, Tony Evers signed into law the new legislative district maps. And so our legislators believe that those laws will all be vetoed because they all have a financial impact, and they think that the Democratic side is thinking that they're going to flip both of the House or both of the chambers, and so then they would like to have that money in reserve for doing what their legislative agenda would be after that. Just one point about all of those bills, the decoupling bill is a bill that probably is in response to us and many other districts around the state being open and transparent about where the money for vouchers and charters comes from and goes to and how it flows through and all of that. And the decoupling bill moves all of that, the charters and the vouchers, to the regular state budget. So it would be among all the rest of it. It wouldn't be on property tax rolls. It would just be part of the regular state budget. So it would be invisible. You wouldn't know what it was unless you dug into the state budget. But again, it wouldn't be on property tax rolls. So that's what that decoupling bill is all about. Other than that, just a good conversation, and we continue to work together, and we're grateful for their attendance at those meetings.
All right.
Any questions for me?
Is there an opportunity that we could kind of dig in a little deeper on Act 20? We hear, it's been referenced multiple times in multiple meetings, and like a little bit here, a little bit there. I guess I could do my own diligence and
Sure.
take a look at it as well, but I think as a group here, we'd probably be better educated on it too.
Sure. Dina did do a presentation specifically on Act 20.
Did I miss it?
I think you might have, but
Not pointing any fingers,
But we
but
it's a big deal, though. I mean,
it is.
Okay.
it's a really big deal, and it has huge impacts, especially to the work that we do primarily in elementary and middle school, and we've got principals here that are represented. And so through that 8th grade year, particularly in school districts that have, and we made this point again, about support for Act 20 and the financial support and human resources support that needs to come with it. Because particularly in school district like ours, which has in some grades 20-something% special education and higher rates of poverty, there will be more students who don't succeed well, especially in the early grades, on that screener. They're coming from places where they don't have a lot of, reading and books and access to all of that necessarily in the home. And so we and districts, like Falls and like Sheboygan we'll have many more students who have the full plan that needs to be in place. And that takes people, it takes time, it takes meetings with families. There is a pretty heavy resource impact related to Act 20, especially to districts that have a little bit more of those factors in their demographics. So we definitely should, because people probably need to hear that, and we're still working on it too, because nobody is exactly sure what it's going to look like. I remember there was a high school graduation test that was going to be a law. Well, it still is a law, but it never actually happened because there were so many logistic walls that ended up cropping up in like things that you couldn't get done. This bill may change as it moves forward and the requirements may change, but I think it's important for you to hear about it. So anyway, it's a good point.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe we have a refresher.
Mm-hmm.
And
We're
we'll
refreshing constantly.
And we'll let you know. All right, thank you, Dan. Finance, Buildings and Grounds, Food Service, Karen Johnson will present update on food service programs. Karen?
Yes. We're going to use the screen, so.
So I should move?
We'll,
All right.
we'll scooch.
Let me scooch around.
Yeah. Toothpick.
I got along with me tonight, I want to introduce Chef Jenny Gilser. So she's been working with us since fall of 2020, and has taken the chef role and jumped right in. So she'll have a few words to say tonight when we get to our kind of soul part. Just some brief summary of, I guess, what we've been doing probably the past year. I know I talked in the fall when, as part of our wellness review of the wellness committee, so we talked a few things about what food service was doing this year, but just a few more in-depth things and a little bit deeper of what kind of where we're at now. So our mission and vision is to promote the enhancement of agricultural and food science studies, a food literate local community, integrated sustainable agriculture and affordable health-conscious lunch program. And then a vision of developing a progressive food experience committed to enhancing the educational model in the Plymouth School District through a better understanding of the relationships between food, health, productive learning, and our environment. So basically, what we're saying is we just want to make sure that the food we serve in schools is part of a student's overall education and well-being and health. So that kind of goes along with our wellness policy that we talked about in the fall. Feeding our kids is our passion, so everybody in the food service department is here because we want to get those kids fed and make sure that they've got what they need to make it through their day and study and, not get hangry and, so that they can be at their absolute best to learn. And this is just some pictures from this fall, from activities that went on. We had the first graders do a pumpkin project with us. On the left there, the picture on the bottom is the greenhouse. That was their first harvest this year of some lettuce and microgreens that they brought into the cafeteria. We invited families in for National School Lunch Week to have a meal with our students. We've had some prizes and things going on, and the top one is our high school busy lunch on one of their popular days that was on Pasta Bar Day, where we have a lot of kids that really enjoy coming in for that. This is just some of the signage we use in our cafeterias. We're trying to promote in some other ways besides just having a menu out there. So the kids we have at the high school, there's a digital signage board that we've been using the last 2 years. So this is just reminding them as part of their meal pattern to make sure they're taking a half a cup of fruit or vegetable every day. And these are pictures from our salad bars and our trays at school. We also try to remind them that there is free breakfast this year for students every single school day. The picture on the bottom is our breakfast cart at the high school that we have out in the hallway every morning. And then we're excited, coming up is National School Breakfast Week, so we're going to be promoting that even harder. The national theme this year for the School Nutrition Association is Surf's Up, so we're going to be doing a lot of tropical themes. We're having a coconut smoothie one day and having a lot of mango and that kind of pineapple fruits and things like that week, just to kind of do something fun and hopefully spur more interest in some breakfast that week. So farm to school, I'll turn this over to Jenny. We have some new partnerships and some ongoing partnerships that help keep it local and increase our scratch cooking. That's something we've been really pushing for the last decade here, so I'll let Jenny talk a little bit more about our partnership farm to school.
So we have and are continuing to develop relationships between our local farmers, our students that have families that are farmers. In particular, Colton, we purchased a pig from him, and now we use that in our scratch cooking. Things like pulled pork, the other day we meatloaf, and we use the ground pork in that. Log Cabin, we get apples from them, not so much currently, but when in season, we get them very regularly, almost weekly. Food Hub, they have an array of all sorts of organic and wonderful products that we've been using that are different than our typical produce that we usually get. Drury Farms, we get maple syrup from them. We've pretty much only been ordering maple syrup from them this year. We haven't purchased any from any other companies. Sunset Apiaries, they're just outside of Elkhart Lake. We've been getting our honey from them. We use it in all sorts of our scratch baking, such as muffins, oat bars. We do have some delicious goodies to hand out at the end, so you can sample that. Our Little Farm, that one is a very small farm. They have limited selections, but what they do is spectacular. And then, of course, our food science and agriculture classes, we get greens and microgreens and sprouts from them constantly. And the kids love to see what they are making and what they are growing with their own hands, and then eat that and see the full cycle of what they're doing. And
Very generous over the years. Sartori donates us cheese every year. They have for the past, I think, 6 years now. that we can use, and we use in some specialty salads and just other toppings that pasta bar. We use our sortori cheese on those days. And then this year, Great Lakes Cheese donated a whole pallet of string cheese to us this year that they needed a home for and thought of us, so that was really wonderful, and we appreciate that. One of the questions we do get often, and I find it surprising that, I don't think we express this enough, where does the funding come from? So Fund 50, which Amy always reports on, is the food service budget, and we are self-supporting. So some of the things this year that we've done to help support the department is we've got a local foods grant. So all those things that Jenny just listed, a lot of that was possible this year to find those new farms through this local foods grant that we received. It was about $8,000. So that's why we can buy maple syrup this year instead of having to buy, the not real stuff, imitation. That's also why we are, we're able to start ordering from the Food Hub. The Food Hub is a coalition of growers that is in more northeastern, kind of into southeastern, but more northeastern Wisconsin growers. And they also got a local food grant, so between the grant that they received as a co-op and the grant that our school received, together combining those grant funds, we ordered for a good 3 months from some other produce. And so we ended up getting like spiralized squash and cauliflower rice and just kind of things that you don't normally get. And so it was really fun to be able to use those funds to get some different things while we had that available. But local foods grant also, like I said, helps us to buy the syrup, and it did help us to buy our apples and things like that. So that's ran up though, unfortunately. We used that up. But then we also did get a supply chain assistance grant. Those have been coming the last couple of years with the USDA has realized that the supply chain is still an issue. So we're really thankful that we've been able to get some extra funding just through that, because there's still shortages, and manufacturers are just still having problems getting the goods sourced and made. So that's been able to give us the opportunity then to purchase other things that are normally more expensive if we can't get the ones that we normally get because they're not available. So we also this year got an equipment grant that we used at Riverview to buy a walk-in freezer. The kitchen at Riverview is very functional, but it's very small, and all they had was 2 double-door freezers that they is the only freezer space they had. So we were able to get this grant, and we put the freezer there. The dry storage room was quite large, and we were able to put that in there. So it has given them a lot of extra space, and it's just been able to give Riverview a little bit more freedom at doing some more menu items that we couldn't do in the past, just because we didn't have enough room to store it and keep stuff there. And it's given our driver Todd a little bit of a break of having to do so many runs from here to there. So overall, it's helped our department a lot, and I think that was a really great thing for Riverview. And then upcoming, we just received a 2024 breakfast expansion grant, which has got a focus on increasing nutrition and scratch-made items. So the focus of that grant is going to be helping reduce sugar, and they want schools to do more scratch-made items, which we already do quite a bit for in our breakfast program. And so when I was applying for that, I'm like, I don't know how much more scratch I'm going to do for breakfast, because we kind of do like almost all of it now. And they're like, that's okay, we'll just support you to keep doing it. So that's coming up to those funds will be available in the fall. Then our regular funding outside of grants is based on per meal reimbursements from both the federal and state governments. So we really drive participation a lot, because the higher our participation is in school meals, the more funding that we get to be able to continue to do all the things that we want to do and keep getting the best for our kids. And then just things coming up that we're looking forward to and trying to support and working through. We still have some things to figure out for these upcoming. We will be providing summer meals this summer, which is exciting. We've done it over the past 5 years, some summers, some not. This summer we did qualify demographically to do some free summer feeding through the School Food Service Summer Programs, which is abbreviated the SFSP. That's a program that's been around for years, and so we're excited that we qualified for this year to be able to provide that to our students. So still working on some logistical things for that, but that will be coming soon. And another change that happened in legislation in the fall is how communities and schools can qualify for the community eligibility program. So CEP is a program that has historically been around for school districts who have a high percentage of students who qualify for free reduced meals. And that percentage used to be a set 40%, but they changed the legislation in the fall to 25%. So as we've been crunching some numbers and looking at some things, Plymouth is getting very close to qualifying for that program. And what community eligibility program is it's a free meals for all, for both breakfast and lunch. So that's something we're looking for, and trying to crunch the numbers. I think it would be really good for our families, and Amy and I have been talking that we definitely feel there's a need. So we're really hoping that's something that's going to work for our district here coming up. And going along with that is the bigger picture, which is the Healthy School Meals for All movement, which there is a coalition in Wisconsin, and that's a group that is trying to basically take CEP and make it permanent for everywhere so that you don't have to qualify for CEP. So it would be every school in every district that participates in National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program. So I guess if there's any questions, we have some goodies to hand out to you. We take pride definitely in our salad bar. Every day salad bar in schools is something we have every single day. So we made you a little salad to take home. And Jenny can explain the dressing that she made for that. It's a homemade scratch dressing. And then we just have some baked goods for you that we serve at this point that you can take home and samples and all of it. But any questions? Here you go.
I use the Drury Farms maple syrup to make a balsamic vinaigrette. And then we have some Sargento Asiago blend cheese in there too.
Nice.
1,000.
Is that right?
Depending on what the menu item is, if that, around 900,000. Lunch numbers are a little bit lower than they have been, 2 or 3 years ago, but our enrollment is a little bit lower too. So we're having around probably the percent of participation at lunch about the same.
Okay.
Breakfast, though, last year when it was in a paid format, we were only doing around 200 a day. So the increase to,
Made a real
700 is a huge increase by having free breakfast.
Wow. Wow, that's great. Thank you.
What are the baked goods again?
They're carrot cake muffins and chocolate chip oat bars.
Nice. It's all very tempting.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to have dinner tonight.
Looks really good.
So are there any other questions? All right, Oh, yeah. Do we have ports? Thank you again. Great work.
And we did want to have them present just because there's so much that they do, and they do a wonderful job, but also the community program we talked about that in the past. We wanted to make sure that you had that on your radar because that could be coming our way, and hopefully will be coming our way for next year, so.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah, they're on the agenda.
It's not lasting until tomorrow.
That's great. Thank you so much. Consider gifts and corresponding adjustments.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes, we have some gifts from the community again and from our parent organizations that come to us. And so again, thank you for these in advance. A donation of $198 from Sargento Foods to Riverview Middle School. Then there is a donation of $1,651.57 from Parkview PTK for transportation to River's Edge Nature Center, Speakers Farms, Madison, and Pioneer Village. And so that's for Parkview. And there's a donation of $1,363.38 from Horizon Path for transportation to the fire station, Madison, UWGB, and Speakers Farms. And then there's a donation of $101.56 from Sherry Pearl, who purchased items for the Amazon wish list for the Panther Sharing Closet, which was presented to you last month. So a lot of good press on that one, which is bringing in some donations.
Yeah.
We do need action on those.
Okay, so I need a motion to accept these donations and make the corresponding budget adjustments.
Second.
All in favor, say yes. Yes. Opposed? And again, thank you to all for those gifts. Item 9, period of public participation. Is there anyone? Katrina? No? No, I'm sorry. All right, that's all right. You were sleeping, but I know. I know. You were looking for a fork as well, weren't you? Yeah. Yeah, I know. All right, so we'll move on to the liaison reports. Community Ed, Sally?
Sure, Community Ed. We have a new hire, Julie Frosto. She was hired to replace the open position of the Wellness Coordinator. And then the class that is available is the Freezer Meals Workshop. And another one is Eating Healthy in 30 minutes or less. The last one I have on my list is Get Your Energy Back. Also, the spring sessions are being finalized, and you can see them online on March 11th, and then they'll be out in printed copies on March 18th. And registration is open on March 20th for the spring classes. That's all.
All right, thank you. Foundation, they are in the midst of evaluating scholarships. 88 applications were made for the scholarships, so that process begins with Foundation. The one mini grant for Horizon chessboards, that was granted, and I believe they've received their chessboards. Other than that, still looking for more grant applications, so please encourage the staff if you would. And finally, no big fundraiser planned for this year. We will be doing other smaller fundraisers throughout the community, but nothing big planned. So we're trying to make it an every other year thing so people don't get worn out. And that's it for Foundation. Family Resource. Kathy?
Family Resource Center Spelling Bee fundraiser is April 18th at 5 o'clock. It takes place at Blue Harbor, and there are still a few spots open for teams. Anybody who wants to be part of the Spelling Bee? You can also sign up to attend and watch the bee, enjoy dinner, and support the Family Resource Center. They are looking for silent auction items as well, if anyone's interested in donating. They were nominated for Nonprofit of the Year by the Plymouth Chamber. Plymouth Developmental Screening Days are March 7th and 8th at Generations. You can register online at the Family Resource Center website, and they are for children ages 6 months to 5 years. Tiny Tots Playgroup at the Plymouth Library the 2nd and 4th Thursday. Biddy Book Club is at the Mead Library in Sheboygan on the 3rd Thursday. Bring Your Own Baby is every 3rd Thursday at Above and Beyond in Sheboygan. They also have a family hike on March 20th at Maywood at 5 o'clock, and drive-in movie night on April 23rd at 5:30 at Generations. Families will create a cardboard vehicle, enjoy snacks, and watch a short film in the comfort of their new ride. Its suggested age is 2 to 4, and you can register on the Family Resource Center website. Lots going on.
All right, thank you, Kathy.
Yep.
Personnel.
Yes, we have a few to consider that need action. and then, but 2 to consider that need action, and then 2 that don't. So we'll do the 2 that need action together. First, the board would consider the approval of the retirement request from Victoria Lamb, speech and language pathologist for Parkview Elementary School, effective at the end of the 23-24 school year. Victoria's been with the district for 24 years. And then along with that, the board would consider the retirement request from Leroy Schwab, gifted and talented coordinator for Plymouth School District, effective at the end of the 23-24 school year. Leroy has been with the district for 6 years, and those 2 just require action.
Okay, need a motion?
I make a motion that we accept these retirements.
Second?
All in favor, say yes. Yes. Opposed? And thank you to them for their service.
And we have 2 support staff updates. Emily Clemmy has been hired as a special education aide at Plymouth High School, and Christy Barnes has submitted her resignation as a special education aide at Plymouth High School. And
Okay.
that completes the personnel.
All right. That moves us to travel. Get to ask us about that.
Yes, we have a travel request, the kind of the annual travel request. It is for, coming from Mark Balbrecht, physics teacher at Plymouth High School, formerly came from Paul Krasaniak every year, to take the physics students to Great America in Illinois on May 2024. The request is in line with board policies. Expenses will be the responsibility of students and/or parents through fundraising.
Need a motion to approve the trip?
Make a motion to approve the trip for Mark Mulbrick in the physics class.
Second.
All in favor, say yes. Yes. Opposed? Nothing for consent. President's report. Tonight, just a couple of comments. I mentioned in committee of the whole that I was encouraged to be a delegate for the WASB convention, and it was a great experience for me. And while I was down there, and you walk through the area where everybody's exhibiting to really sell to schools or encourage schools to look at new programming and new things. The piece that struck me is so many of those booths, when I'd stopped, I'd see something that was interesting, and they'd start to talk to me, and I'd say, well, nutrition, yeah, we're doing this, and we have our greenhouse, and we're integrating. And so often they'd say, wow, you guys, you know what you're doing in Plymouth. So we have a great thing going, and that's what we all have to keep in mind. But then we also have to keep in mind that we can't sit on our laurels either, right? We have to always say, all right, we're doing great things, but how are we the best, and what do we do next to be the best? And Dina's report, the last school board meeting, some of the challenges of where we are with how we perform on some of the testing, and what are we going to do, right? So we do great things here in the school district, there is no doubt. But at the same time, we have to keep thinking bigger, and we have to keep, how do we keep moving the ball down the road? How do we kick the ball down the road? I'm mixing metaphors, sorry, but how do we keep raising the bar? And let's not stop with what we've always done, but let's really think hard and work hard to say, what else could we do? So the next time we walk through this convention and we hear all these things, we can say, yeah, we're already doing that, which is pretty impressive. So anyway, that's my report.
I'm going to switch mine around because I would dovetail on something that you were just talking about.
All right.
Part of what I was going to mention was something about AI, artificial intelligence, and kind of where the world stands with that. But I'm going to move that to the front because it fits in exactly with what you just said. So take the clock back a year and go to an education conference in the state, and most of what you would hear about, or I'm on the Governor's Council on Workforce Investment, go to one of those meetings, and what you'd hear about AI. What you'd hear about from the school perspective was, how do we stop AI? How do we keep AI out of classrooms? How do we keep them from cheating? Blah, blah, blah. That's the mantra. From businesses a couple of years back, it was, what are we going to do when AI replaces everybody? What are we going to do? Because it's just, AI is going to take everybody's jobs, and what are people going to do? Fast forward to today, and I had a meeting with the Governor's Council Workforce Investment, and the business leaders that are in that group are talking about a lot of uses for AI and how it can help in job performance, how it can make people more productive rather than take their job. There was one quote that I thought was really valuable, which was, "You most likely won't lose your job to AI, but you may lose your job to someone who knows how to use it." And so Dina and I and some of the...
Very true.
And we've been talking about this just at a school level and it's more of a high school thing and middle school thing, because that's when kids start to use it and are required to do papers, and they're really getting into the abstract levels of algebra and trigonometry and all of that. It's here. How do we help them use it and become excellent users of AI so that, and it was just kind of appropriate that today in the meeting, it's like the business leaders are saying, we're going to need people who know how to use this and navigate through it. And so we want to be on the forefront, to your comments, about let's not just bury our head in the sand and say this is not coming our way and we're just going to call it cheating and kids and push it off the side. We need to figure out how to use it.
Absolutely.
And make sure our kids know how to use it, and not use it for nefarious purposes, but use it, purposely to help them be more productive and better at math and better at writing and all the things that they do. So how we do that and work on that is a big debate, a big question. Everybody's trying to work their way through that. So I thought that is a spot that I think, again,
could lead.
we can lead
Right.
through and not develop policies that are reactionary but that are progressive. So hopefully we can continue down that path. So a couple other, that was just my comment on the future that way, but a couple of things that are some highlights from our district that are really pretty cool. Ryan Krippendorf, art teacher at the high school, has been named as the, what is the organization? He's the art teacher of the year in the state of Wisconsin, but there's a specific organization that it is through. But the write-up says, Ryan Krippendorf has been a game changer at PHS. The art classes were always popular, but now they are the highest demand elective classes in the school. Ryan grows young artists and revised the curriculum to be relevant, tied more closely to career clusters in art, and opened up pathways for our students to see themselves as artists and earn scholarships to achieve their goals of attending art school. Over the past several years, Ryan has helped students earn literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. If any of you have been to the awards
Absolutely.
night, there are some big-time scholarships that go to art students, and he has been instrumental in making that happen. And so he's a huge asset to PHS, and so congratulations to Ryan Krippendorf, and thankfully he's helping our kids do great things.
You have
Another-
your hand up?
Wisconsin Art Education Association.
Thank you.
There,
I
thanks.
figured it would have been something like that. Or the art education of Wisconsin.
There was art in it somewhere.
Another thing that we've done, again, we have, kind of going back to your comments, yes, we have, there are demographic changes and things that we're working on, but it isn't that we're just pointing out the problem. There are things that we do about it. So what do we do about it? Here's an example of what we're doing about it. On Thursday, February 8th, the special education team at the high school hosted Transition Night for students with disabilities and their parents and guardians. Representatives from the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, DVR, Inspire Wisconsin, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA, which is, I'm on the board, the Governor's Council on Workforce Investment. Our primary job is to do the 3-year WIOA plan every year and approve it. So that they were here at Plymouth High School for the transition night. Aging and Disability Resource Center, and the Lakeshore Technical College's accommodation and TRIO services presented information about what resources they could provide to students and their families both during and after high school. Approximately 20 students, parents, and guardians, so 20 students with parents and guardians, came and attended. The special education teachers and administrators were all also there. The evening ended with a meet and greet where students, parents, and guardians could speak one-on-one with service providers as well as with other families who attended the event. Plymouth School District was also awarded the 23-24 Wisconsin Transition Readiness Grant, designed to support Wisconsin students with disabilities to successfully transition to competitive work and post-secondary education environments after high school. Currently, there are 7 students enrolled in Just Drive Plymouth online driver education program. Multiple students are working within the district to gain valuable employment skills, and the beginning of a College Connect program where students can be introduced to college courses or pre-college programs before they graduate with the support of their special education teacher. All of these opportunities have been made possible and funded through the grant. So, yep, there are issues and things we're working on, and these are examples of what we're doing to make a difference for kids. A couple other things that are going on, a couple of achievements. Our dance team took 4th at the state team dance competition in hip hop. 4 boys are qualified, or 3 boys and 1 girl are qualified for the state wrestling tournament. The boys basketball team is the number 2 seed. Their first game is Friday, March 1st at home. The girls' first game of the playoffs is tonight. That's why Dina is watching her daughter tonight. And it is at Port Washington. And the musical is going to be March 7th through the 10th. And hopefully people that haven't gotten tickets yet can get tickets. And by the next time we have this meeting, most of this will be cleared out because there's a lot of apparatuses hidden behind walls here. So that is my report.
All right, thanks, Dan. Finally, I need a motion to adjourn to closed session as follows. Pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.851, Section G, to consider pending litigation against the district as well as the written advice of legal counsel for the district concerning the strategy to be adopted by the district concerning the same. Wow. Need that motion. Yeah, I can. I still won't get it right, but, okay, roll call?
Dan?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Sally, yes. Aaron?
Yes.
Janelle? Yes. Thank you.